Transformers.
More than meets the eye.
I don't really like them. I don't know. It's one of those franchises that I never really got into as a kid. But you know who I do like? Brawn. So I thought one day, this would be funny. I'm gonna go out and buy every single G1 Brawn toy. So I did. Now I'm going to review and hell did he get super invested into one specific 80s cartoon character? That's because of my buddy Ronnie. He's big into Transformers. Way more than I'll ever be, admittedly. And, you know what? I think I'm going to get him into here and kind of explain the origins of this little guy.
So, story of Brawn. Brawn was originally a toy created for the American toy line Mysterians, although that toy line was mysteriously cancelled. The mold was then acquired by Takara in 1983 for their micro-change line of mini vehicles. These vehicles transformed into smaller robots. Avid Thomas fans may know Takara for the only good merchandise this series has ever had. This toy was then imported by Hasbro to become one of the original 1984 Transformers, specifically the Minibots, sharing the spotlight with beloved character Bumblebee and many other modified micro-change toys, as well as a few Mysterians that got into the mix. Brawn was given a character bio by Marvel Comics writer Bob Budiansky, which described him as a small but strong Autobot. He was the demolitions expert and had a tendency to give grief to Autobots who tend to steer away from fighting, like fellow teammate from 1985, Perceptor.
Yeah, Perceptor, there's real work to be done around here.
This is real work, Brawn.
Real work is crushing Decepticons, not fussing with chips.
Brawn was an extremely prominent character in the original animated series for its first 2 seasons, as well as the Marvel comic. Fun fact, Spider-Man was in the first 4-issue miniseries. This would change in the year 1986. This year, the lion's share of the 1984 toy line was being phased out. As such, Brawn met his end in the comic at the hands of Starscream, and by a tragic blast to the shoulder from Megatron in one of the first scenes of the iconic 1986 Transformers the movie.
Megatron! Decepticons! Die, Autobots!
Nevertheless, Brawn has stayed an iconic piece of Transformers history, despite never showing up in a cartoon since the original series. He still makes regular appearances in modern comic books, and just made his big screen debut in 2018's Bumblebee. And in true Brawn fashion, he is taken out immediately by a shot to his shoulder. But he lives this time! I think I've probably rambled on about this ornery Autobot long enough.
Can the chat and start kicking pig iron!
You're here for the toys.
Thanks, Round Dog. And here's G1 Brawn. I really like this little guy. A very simple transformation and a very simple look altogether. I don't know. He just has that charm that the G1 toys has, just up to infinity. Absolutely love him. But that's not all. No. In 2002, Hasbro made this little guy, a keychain version. It's really just the same toy, but now with a little keychain loop on the top. Next up is the Transformers Universe Legends class from 2008. I don't like it. I think that the car mode itself, the car mode looks fine, and so does the transformation. But the actual robot mode just brings it down so many points. It just looks absolutely ugly and just takes so much of the charm away from this guy. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Come on. Hey, get him out of here. Yeah, thank you. Fuck this thing. It's hot as nuts in this room. I'm keeping the fan on for the rest of this damn video. Next up is the Titans Return Headmaster Brawn. This guy's just funny. I like him. He's just a small little guy with a small little vehicle. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of the vehicle, especially when you put it in the transformation. but overall it's fine, you know, it works. And of course there's the whole shtick with this line, where the little robot itself turns into the head for a different figure. That's kind of cool. And if I remember correctly, this is the only Headmaster to come sort of in its own box. I think all the rest of them were packaged with a different figure. Next up is the Titans Return Legends class. I do like this figure. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of the car mode, but it feels like the Universe Legends class done right. You know, it actually, you know, looks like Brawn. The transformation itself is simple, it's effective, it's very nice. I'm a big fan of it. I also like the little, like, I don't know, roof shield that we got going on here. If I remember correctly, a lot of the figures from this line sort of have that going on with them. I like it. For shits and gigs, here he is with the gun mode of the Headmaster Brawn. And there they are, father and son. Lovely. Here's a real gem. This is the Studio Series Bumblebee Brawn. I'm both a big fan and not a big fan of this figure. I'm mainly not a fan of the vehicle mode, because I much prefer the look of, you know, the actual car mode that he has in G1. But I understand why they had to do it like this, because they didn't really have a, you know, in-universe look for the vehicle mode, you know, from the movie. So it's excusable. But the actual, like, robot mode itself is it is just a treat. Plus, it comes with the little drill that it had in G1, like, which is that's pretty interesting. I'm kind of surprised no other toy really came with that. And finally, here's the most recent figure of Brawn, the Studio Series Brawn from the 1986 movie. I'm a big fan of this guy. I've said it for basically all the other ones, but it's, you know, it doesn't stop it from being true. Everything about this figure is really what I'm looking for in a Brawn toy. The colors are right, like, the general look is there, and it's probably the best official one that we've gotten. Of course, there's a bunch of third parties which are probably better, but if you're looking for a regular, decently priced, decent looking Brawn toy, I would say this is where you should go. Everything about it is just wonderful, I think. I keep saying this about the transformations because it's just true. This one is, like, simple enough and intuitive enough to, like, you know, really get your mind a-racing. Now, let's get into the rankings.
The worst one is this one, the G2 Universe Legends or whatever. Now, jumping to the ones that I actually do like. We got this guy, the Headmaster Legends Brawn. It's not the worst toy in the world. I really do like it, but also, functionally, it's the least impressive one. Next up is the Bumblebee Brawn. The robot mode is very, very nice. It's very accurate to the movie, plus it has the drill bit from G1, which is funny. But, overall, I don't really like the car mode. It just doesn't look like any of these guys, which is kind of bogus. Next is the Titan Class Legends Brawn. I'm a big fan of this guy. Simple transformation and a decent looking car mode. I do like that. And now, probably the best one, the new Studio Series movie Brawn. It's, what can I say? It's a very, very nice figure, very nice car. Everything about it is just solid. Unfortunately, mine doesn't have the best pegs to, lock everything in car mode, but that's really the only bad thing about it. I keep it in robo mode most of the time anyways. Well, my favorite is G1 Brawn. I mean, look at him. Look at this little guy. It might be because it's my first one. Also, I just kind of like the simplicity of it. But it's just a nice little toy. I like it a lot.
So yeah, that's Brawn. He's a funny little guy, I think. I like him. So that's all I really got for you. I hope you like this little setup here because this is where I'm going to be for a bit. Because I'm back at college. So there's going to be another little slowdown on stuff like Sodor Classic Mini Stories and sort of Train Spotting, but I am actively working on those. The next video is going to be very interesting. Well, one of the next videos. I don't know if I'm going to put something out in between then and now, but I guess we're all just going to have to see. Bye.